Welcome to our online Thursday Vespers at First Parish in Needham. It's good to be here together tonight with you all. However the day has gone, however it is with your spirit, whatever is weighing on or lifting your heart and mind today, you are welcome here. We have a few notes about this Zoom format. You are all muted so that no one can hear you, but you should be able to see and hear me. Please feel free to turn on or off your camera or otherwise make yourself comfortable settling into this virtual space tonight. That may mean taking your hands off of the keyboard, changing your sitting or standing or lying down position, or adjusting the lights in the room that you're in. If you encounter any tech problems, you can type to us all in the chat, which is the button with an image of a speech bubble labeled chat. If it's not there, you might need to click the button that says more and find the chat in there. And we all know that doing live anything comes with its own technology hazards. So if we make mistakes or me or someone else on the call temporarily loses connection or freezes, we hope that you take that as part of the contemplative practice as well tonight. We invite you to use that time to meditate all the same. So let's begin by taking a deep breath in and letting it out together. Vespers is one of the traditional monastic prayers of the hours, daily prayers that start with matins around 2 a.m. and end with compline just before bedtime. Vespers is the evening prayer at sunset, a time for reflecting with gratitude on the day and unwinding into a more contemplative mindset right before dinner. While we're all physically separated, we're going to gather every Thursday night to take time for a few different forms of contemplative practice. Each week will be a little different, with rotating leadership from myself, Reverend Katie, Helen Lane, and Rebecca Keller-Scholl. But there will always be a chalice lighting, some centering music, and a chance for some reflection. You are encouraged to keep a journal to continue the contemplative practice of Vespers after our service has ended. You should also feel free to write to us if you'd like links to any of the readings or the music. Our theme for tonight's service, in line with our February ministry theme of resilience, is creating recipes for resilience. My hope is that throughout the 30 minutes, you reflect on the various things that go into your recipe for resilience, a resilience that we might continue to tap into during these pandemic days and in our justice work. For now, let's listen to our centering song. This is a song, Resilient, by the band Rising Appalachia.
Trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh. These times are poignant, the winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out fronts. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Whoa, whoa, whoa. speck of dust, and this world was made for me. So let's go and try our luck. Say, I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. So what are we doing here? What has been done? What are you gonna do about it when the world comes undone? My voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. Put us all together, make a mighty trust the movement. I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen.
We light our chalice this evening with words from Euro-American UU Minister Reverend Margaret Wise. It's called A Recipe for Resilience. This recipe has been tweaked over time, so adjust as necessary. Sometimes it yields more servings than anticipated. Sometimes it needs a bit more of this ingredient or that. It comes from generations who have gone before me, and I've added my own flavor along the way. A recipe for resilience. 1 part courage, 2 parts tears of failure and doubt, 1 part deep listening, 1 part each of both silence and laughter, a dash of trust, a pinch of wonder, a heaping scoop of naps and snacks. In a separate bowl, mix together family, friends, and those who challenge you to be your best self, those with whom you disagree. Add slowly to the larger pot, add a bay leaf for, well, whatever it is that bay leaves do, and let simmer for as long as you need, which is often longer than you realize or anticipate. Keep the heat at an even temperature, hot enough to cook throughout, but not so hot that it burns the bottom. Can be served at room temperature, warm, or even cold if necessary. Serve alongside your favorite soft blanket, dog, cat, or other soft item. Make often, share with others, hold on to the leftovers. You'll need them after a long day that challenges your soul. And it's now time to acknowledge the joys and sorrows that we all bring to our contemplative worship service today. I'll light our first candle as a candle of joy. May we make time and space for infusions of joy into our daily lives, remembering that now more than ever, joy is a spiritual practice, allowing us to continue doing the work that is ours to do. I light a second candle for the sorrows that we carry with us today. May we have the courage to reach out to others, to hold them in their sorrows, and to reach out to others to have a safe place to lay down our own. And I light a final candle for the world. that there might be justice and healing, transformation, and abundant love. Let us take a quiet moment with the ringing of the singing bowl to reflect on the joys and sorrows that we each carry in our hearts today. Amen. Our reading this evening comes from Euro-American UU minister Reverend Aaron Walter. It's from the UUA series called Braver, Wiser, and it's called Keep Singing. It starts with a short quote from Patti Smith from More Songwriters on Songwriting. In times of strife, we have our imagination, we have our creative impulse, which are things that are more important than material things. They are the things that we should magnify. When I can't sleep, which is often in pandemic life, I reach for the comfort and inspiration offered by fellow musicians. Since we cannot perform much in person these days, the Songwriters on Songwriting interview series has become a personal, sacred text, mostly because it motivates me to do what I love to do, sing. After reading just a few words from Michelle Ndegeocello or the late John Prine, I find myself grabbing my daughter's red glitter guitar and whispering song ideas into my phone's memo app. Hokey but heartfelt lyrics like, God give me strength, we will be together again, and as long as it takes. I've lost count of the songs I've written or half written while sheltering in place. Most are terrible, and you'll never hear them, and that's fine. They're here to process grief with me and tap into hope and determination as I fight to keep my creative process, normally collective, alive in isolation. One favorite new song is called First One to Fall Asleep Wins. I wrote it, of course, when I couldn't sleep. It's a lullaby, but I always growl these lines. Yeah, you swear to yourself, whatever this is, it won't ruin me. Alone in the dark, I sing myself the messages that I need to hear. The creative impulse Patti Smith describes has long been considered holy or divine inspiration. I experience it as living just under the surface of the daily grind, hugging, imploring, when do we all get to sing together again? I suspect I will remember this pandemic as a time I often felt close to ruin. When I lost my job to COVID-19 layoffs, my bands couldn't play, my kids struggled, and our churches were confined to computers. When nearly 2 million people worldwide died from COVID-19, and the rest of us grappled with grief at a distance, when we sang hymns on mute. But I pray we also remember and magnify, as Smith says, the moments of creativity and wonder. The dance classes over Zoom, the books cherished in quiet moments, our practices of resilience and mutual aid, of grace and forgiveness. And of course, I take heart that even on mute or alone in the dark, we kept on singing. Here ends our reading. I invite you to all take a few deep breaths with me as we enter into the contemplative practice this evening, which is not a meditation, but will be meditative all the same. I'll take a couple deep breaths together. When I hear the word resilience, I think of it as one of our more embodied spiritual disciplines. And when I think of embodiment, I often think of that as one of our weaknesses as UUs. We're a very intellectual denomination. When I first started attending a UU church after leaving the Catholic church where I grew up, I remember being grateful that we weren't jerked around so much, sitting and then standing and then kneeling and then sitting again and then kneeling again. I was young at the time, but I still felt tuckered out by the whole experience. But over time, I did miss the embodied aspect of Catholic worship. The ritual of crossing yourself, of genuflecting, of settling into prayer by kneeling on the pews next to my parents or my neighbors. So as we reflect tonight on what the ingredients are for resilience in our own lives, I want to invite us to remember to think not just with our minds, but also with our bodies. If you are skeptical about a practice that might be called body prayer, that's okay. You're invited to do whatever gesture is called to you and to do them at your own speed, or to just watch me and listen to the music. So the invitation tonight is to move through a sequence of 4 different embodied prayerful gestures together, and let each of those gestures sort of speak to you and give you something that you need tonight, and show you something about where your resilience comes from. So the first gesture is, I have to hold my hands up high to the camera, is this one. You can join me in this gesture as you're comfortable. And when you put your hands together like this, what word or phrase comes to mind? When I learned it as offering, but you can choose another word that feels right to you. This is the next gesture. And when you gently touch your hands to your lips like this, what word or phrase would you like to lay onto this gesture? I learned it as gratitude, but you can choose whatever you like. From there, we move to the third gesture. And you can choose a word that you want to use for this one. I learned it as comfort. And the last one, I might have to back up, is this. You can do it a couple times, or you can do it at your own speed, one hand and then another. I learned this posture as giving it all away. So let's go through the sequence a couple more times, just to make sure we remember them. Comfort, gratitude. Offering, gratitude, comfort, and then giving it all away. And it's okay if you still need to refer to my video, because we'll do it together. But with this embodied prayer, I want you to go at your own pace, sitting with each posture for however short or long you would like to. Reverend Katie is going to play some calming music. And for the duration of the song, I just invite you to circulate through those 4 gestures. And not every body moves in the same way. So if there are gestures you like better, do whichever ones are comfortable to you as they were presented or modified. You might want to do this contemplative practice seated or standing or lying down, or seated on the floor. When I did this the first time, I liked to do it standing, but it's completely up to you. And you can keep your camera on or off while you do it. I'll be doing the embodied prayer with you, so if you need a reminder of the postures, you can look at my video, but you don't have to keep the same pace with me or follow me exactly. And with this, I think Reverend Katie is going to play the music.
I invite you to take a few deep breaths as we come back into our space together, our virtual space, and rejoin each other before the musical meditation. During our musical meditation tonight, you're invited to actually journal briefly, either with paper or in the chat box. You can journal to each other if you'd like on Zoom, about what would be in your recipe for resilience. I'll paste the one that we read for the chalice lighting into the chat box once the music starts. So you might think about what you're going to hold dear to as we navigate the next few months of the pandemic. You might be inspired by something that came to you in the embodied practice tonight. And our musical meditation is Remembrances by Edvard Grieg, performed by Jennifer Nicolosi, the music director of the Unitarian Universalist Church west of Brookfield, Wisconsin. As we wind down this evening,
We invite you to take Thursday nights to quiet your mind and spirit by joining us again in the coming weeks. Our closing words this evening are from Euro-American author and artist Jan Richardson. It's a poem called The Healing That Comes. I know how long you have been waiting for your story to take a different turn, how far you have gone in search of what will mend you and make you whole. I bear no remedy, no cure, no miracle for the easing of your pain, but I know the medicine that lives in a story that has been broken open. I know the healing that comes in ceasing to hide ourselves away with fingers clutched around the fragments we think are none but ours. See how they fit together, these shards we have been carrying, how in their meeting they make a way that we could not find alone. We will play a postlude to close our service tonight, Wo Ya Ya, performed by the Silver Spring UU Church Virtual Choir, a song written by Ghanaian drummer Sol Amarifio and popularized in the 1970s by Osibisa, a musical group of Ghanaian and Caribbean musicians. Wo Ya Ya, like many other African scat syllables, can have many meanings, but according to the song's composer, it means we are going. You are welcome to log off at any point before or during the postlude, and we will close the Zoom room after the postlude is finished. Have a peaceful, blessed evening, and amen.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will. We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know we're there, we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know we're there, we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but